Most people are exhausted from working hard on the wrong things. How long have you been working hard but getting nowhere in life? I've heard it from the time I was a little boy, right? Little man can't get ahead. We all picked the cotton, but we never got rich. And so many other sayings about being poor, right? But someone around you got rich. They got the results you were looking for. It may not have even been monetary. Direction for your work matters just as much as hard work when you get that direction. I like to say that the size of the boat matters, right? You can row across the ocean in a canoe, or you can row across the ocean in a giant ship. The giant ship is more likely to get across the ocean, but you can row across in a canoe. I'm Nate. I'm the owner of InterSell, where 30,000 customers have chosen InterSell, and I hope that you become the next one. So if you like cool inspirational t-shirts, be sure to check out InterSell.com. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with somebody that needs it. And I got a great show for you today on the Sharp Mind Show called The Difference Between Working Hard and Getting Results, right? And so the core truth is working hard does not automatically guarantee you results. Effort matters, but direction matters more. You can stay busy all day and still make no real progress. Results come from effective action, not just effort. So, what does working hard usually look like? Right? Say, so many people I know, they work long hours. They're constantly busy. They're staying busy. They're doing task after task after task. But busy does not always mean that they've been productive, right? And so, what are some ways that they're doing a lot of work but not being productive? Number one, spending hours on social media doing research, watching business videos, motivational clips, strategies all day, never actually creating content, launching, or selling anything. Learning without execution produces no results, right? Number two, constantly redesigning instead of launching. Reworking logos, websites, products, designs repeatedly. Never putting the product in front of customers, right? So if I make a t-shirt and I don't get it out in front of a customer for them to reject it or like it, then I won't know if they like it or reject it, right? That perfectionism can delay your progress and your sales, right? Number three is working long hours on low value tasks, right? And so most people will spend a whole day answering emails, right? Organizing files, tweaking tiny details. They're staying busy instead of focus on revenue producing work, right? Number four is posting content without trying to improve the message, right? Uploading constantly, but never analyzing hooks, titles, audience response, repeating weak strategies without adjustment. Repetition without improvement creates stagnation. And say, number five is going to the gym without structure. You're working out hard every day, but you got no nutrition plan, no progressive overload, and no consistency in recovery, right? And so, I'm prime example of that, right? My nutrition plan sucked. So I ended up being 308 pounds this time, right? Just had surgery to remove my gallbladder, right? Because my nutrition plan sucks, right? But I'm back at it. Nutrition plan is going to be on point from now on, period, until we're 225 pounds by my 40th birthday, which is in December. All right, we're sitting at 270 as of this morning, which is awesome. But that being said, why do people confuse that their effort is productive, right, with progress? Because being busy feels productive. Hard work creates emotional satisfaction, right? They focus on activity instead of outcomes. motion is not always movement forward. So I describe it as like you're sitting there, but you're the rat in the wheel, right? So a rat, if you ever had one of these like gerbils or whatever these things are called, rats, gerbils, they run in this little thing all day, but they've not gone anywhere, right? That's what most people are. Most people are running in their little rat wheel and they're not going anywhere, right? Because the motion that they're in is not moving them forward, right? So, what's the cost of working hard without results? Number one is burnout, right? And so many people are just burnout, like they just look burnout. So, I used to ride the LIR into Manhattan when I was in med school, and you would just see it just looked like freaking zombies on that train every morning, right? Every one of those people were burnt out, having to ride an hour into the city and an hour back, right? Another thing that working hard without results will cost you is frustration. Like you're just frustrated. You're not going nowhere, right? You feel like you're putting so much energy into something and you're just not getting the results you want. Wasted energy and time, slow growth. Effort without strategy creates exhaustion, right? And so the key point here is results are made by focused execution, not random effort, right? Because most people are going to get into what's called the productivity trap, right? Do more tasks, stay constantly occupied, feel productive, see little progress, right? And so a lot of people talk about this with life hacking, right? And so where you're doing like cold showers and cold plunges and infrared saunas and all that stuff, trying to make themselves feel better, right? When in reality, what would have made them feel better is if they took that time and actually did productive work, right? They just went ahead, they woke up, had some water and got right to work, right? And so that's what I do every day, right? I wake up at 4 a.m. so that I can do this podcast, and I wake up and immediately get to work, right? I'm not sitting around doing a bunch of BS. I'm immediately getting up and getting to work, right? And so just wasted time, stuff that can take away your productivity, right? Those more tasks are not helping you become better. The more tasks are taking away the time you need to be productive, right? But so you got to change your stuff from activity, and with activity and efficiency, you got to do an output versus input, right? So input is hours worked and energy spent. Output is revenue created, progress made, and problem solved, right? Measure outcomes, not just effort, right? So, what are some common productivity mistakes? Number one is multitasking, right? So you're doing 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 things at once, right? And so I struggle with this a lot because I like to do a lot of things at one time, right? A lot of people will prioritize low value tasks, right? So what's the first thing most people do when they come into work? They check their email, right? When checking your email is probably the lowest value task that you could do that day, right? To move your product forward, to move your company forward. Another common productivity mistake is avoiding difficult work, right? And so, you know, the first time I worked in a warehouse, right, I was packing boxes. They would get an order. You would pack the box and ship the order out, right? And so I was probably 17 years old, 19 years old, something like that. And, I noticed that, they were keeping up with how many orders were taken out, and that person was getting a gift card every month, right? And so I was like, well, I can get more orders out if I choose the ones that have the smaller amount of items, right? And so it looked like on paper that I was being more productive, getting more stuff out. But what I was really doing was getting the smaller orders out, a lot of them, so that I could get the $50 gift card, right? Avoiding that difficult work, going to get more items, right, was going to cost the company money because, they already got the shipment, but, me avoiding that work, that extra work, was definitely going to delay the customer getting the products, right? Instead of just getting it as it came in. But it was them prioritizing getting more orders out versus prioritizing the value of the orders that you got out, right? Something like that. So it's just putting your energy into a different spot. And obviously the last one is spending too much time planning instead of executing. So high value work is going to create results, right? And so you got to have an identity shift from I worked hard today to did I move closer to the result that I want, right? And so you change your mindset with affirmations. If you don't have affirmations, you can pick mine up in the description for free. They're 100% free. I don't even take your name for them, right? And you read them in the morning, the middle of the day, and the afternoon, and they will change your mindset, right? And so that's I think mindset is so important. If you don't believe you can get something done, you don't believe you can do it, then you aren't going to be able to do it, right? All right, and so how does this apply to me? Number one is content. I'm posting with strong messaging, right? And so you saw at the beginning of this video today, I started the video off with a hook, right? Hopefully you liked the hook. Hopefully the hook got your attention. Hopefully the hook kept you listening, right? From business, I'm focused on launch, I'm focusing on ads, and I'm focusing on execution, right? How is my ad doing? Trying to learn quicker through the ad, right? So if 2,000 people go to the website, nobody buys, I know that product is not good. Let's launch the next one. Let's move along. Like it's not beneficial to sit here for weeks and weeks and weeks on one product, right? If the product's not working. And obviously we're going to prioritize actions that create progress, right? And so the actions for me are making designs, getting the advertising ready, launch them in as ads, getting that feedback loop, and repeat over and over and over again. Whereas I could be sitting back like thinking about designs. So here's the 10. We're going to only launch one of the 10, stuff like that. Instead of say, hey, let's take 10 weeks and launch all 10, right? And run ads and really get to know stuff for InstaSell, right? And so, but the biggest mistake most people make is they confuse movement with progress. They stay busy to avoid difficult priorities, and they never measure their results, right? And so the biggest thing here is measuring, right? When I send out a product, into the world, and people come to the website and they buy, then I know that product is good, right? So I'm going to put more money behind it. I'm going to increase its reach and hope that that percentage is equivalent to the worldwide percentage, right? For instance, I did a post yesterday and sent it to somebody, and they were like, oh yeah, that's funny, cool. But I didn't see a like. I didn't see them comment. They didn't share it with nobody, right? So their words told me that, okay, it was good, but their actions told me otherwise, right? And so I know I need to go back to the drawing board and come up with something better, right? It was good, but it needed to come up with something better, right? And so that's measuring. You have to measure, right? And so, all right, we're going to run through rapid fire hooks real quick. No, hold on. I'm going to do the challenge first. So challenge to you is identify the 20% of your actions creating the most of your results, right? Because you've heard of the 80-20 rule, where 20% of your action is creating 80% of your results, right? And so you find what that 20% is and you concentrate on it, right? And so spend more time this week with those actions and look at everything else and say, okay, I don't need to do this, I don't need to do that, I don't need to do that, right? Or this is the last thing I do, right? You still might do it, but you do it last, right? Prioritize your impact. And if you do that, you're going to improve your life for sure, no problem, right? And so we'll run through rapid fire hooks real quick. Busy does not mean productive. Focus better. Effort matters, but direction matters more. Work smarter too. Movement is not always progress. Measure your results. Long hours means nothing without better outcomes. Track your impact. Results come from focused execution, not random effort, right? And so I'm going to leave you with this closing line. Hard work matters, but focused execution matters more. The people who win are not just working harder, they're working on the right things consistently, right? And so when you realize this, your mindset changes. You realize that the little man can't get ahead, that somebody did get rich by picking cotton, right? That money is not the root of all evil, that the love of money is the root of all evil, right? And that it's your responsibility to help yourself, your family, your neighbor's family, the community, your county, your state, and the country that you live in become successful. That is your responsibility, then your mindset changes and you work different. I'm Nate. I'm the owner of InterSell, where 30,000 customers are chosen InterSell, and I know you're going to become the next because you like cool, inspirational t-shirts. Go check out InterSell.com. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with somebody that needs it. Buy my wife's book, Dylan and Davina, The Adventure Begins, which is available on Amazon, written by best-selling Amazon author Meredith Dillon Johnson. So if you got nieces, nephews, or children of your own, be sure to check out Dylan and Davina, The Adventure Begins. And we'll see you in the next